This is not a heroic sacrifice. I think I'm literally incapable of lying.
But how do I know you aren't lying about that too?
That's the trick, isn't it?
Don't worry, child. Soon enough, we'll be together again.
What is up, world of the living? My name is ZloyXP and welcome back to Truly Bedrock, a server whose internal affairs I am rapidly trying to uproot. Quite a while ago, a month ago actually, I have started the project of absolutely annihilating the economy of Truly Bedrock and tuning it from using diamonds as currency to my personal made-up currency titled DUM. If you don't know, if you don't remember, if you don't understand, DUM is a currency that is unfakeable and absolutely inflation-proof, because it's made out of the written books that I and only I can issue. And last time we created the books and we issued them for everybody in the amount of a full chest of one, so 27 per person. Quite a few things have changed since. And I'm happy to tell you that most of the economy here on Truly Bedrock actually started shifting towards using DUM and recognizing it as a valid currency. By now, most shops actually do accept DUM, or at the very least use it as a substitute. Like here, Silent Whisperer is actually accepting it, but only in the case where you have to convert all of the prices to it yourself. This is a little bit unfortunate because I'm not trying to make replacement diamonds. I'm trying to get rid of diamonds for good because they're a useless thing that Minecraft doesn't need. So right now, in Silent's shop, you are basically expected to use 2 DUM for 1 diamond, and that frames my currency as a weaker one, and I am not here for it. Luckily, there are a few shops that don't use diamonds whatsoever, like Foxy's here doesn't at all. It instead equates DUM to firework rockets, so 1 DUM per stack, but also 32 copper ingots per stack, equating 1 DUM to 32 copper ingots. That I actually can forgive, because once again, it's the stack of a firework rocket that is really functioning here, not the copper ingots. So yeah, things have been progressing rapidly, and I'm really happy for it. But unfortunately, despite the currency circulating, I'm afraid that I have spotted a little bit of an issue with the way it is circulating. You see, my friends, there is a way to spend your DUM, but there isn't really a way to earn it. Right now, if you want to get this money, you actually need to already be rich enough to start up your own shop. And that's just a lot of trouble that not a lot of people are willing to go. Meaning that once people have blown through their first 27 DUM that I issued for them for free, that's curtains for us. They will just not be able to spend it. Only people with the money at that point are gonna be owners of shops. And I don't think that that's going to be a motivator enough for people to start opening their own shops all over the place. We need some way for people to make money, even if that's just so they can bring that money back to us. And I think that I have a solution for that. One that, on top of everything, is also gonna dilute the actual value of DUM to the point when you can't exactly tell how much a diamond is worth according to it. And this is gonna get quite confusing, so bear with me, I got a PowerPoint presentation. So, what is our problem to begin with? The money is not circulating quick enough because people don't really have enough money, but also because people aren't selling enough things for that money. Luckily, we can solve both of these problems with one solution. Instead of just giving people the money like we already did once, this time around we'll allow people to mine for that money. Next slide, please. Naturally, we can't just place Bitcoin all over the server, that's gonna be a little bit stupid and way too much effort. Instead, we're gonna allow people to mine whatever the heck they want, but then come and exchange it for money. How is it not just regular shop? Well, the exchange is gonna go both ways. For example, if somebody has way too much cobblestone mined up, they don't need to open their own cobblestone shop anymore. They can just come to the location and exchange that cobble for the cash. Conversely, somebody in need of cobblestone will come in and exchange that cobblestone for cash backwards. As a result, not only do we get the DAM's value diluted and not equated to diamond, but also we get a nice source of building materials that people will want to use. And the trick is we don't even need to sell cobblestone. We can sell all sorts of stuff. We can sell materials that I don't even have access to, because the only thing that I need to provide in this case is the selling place and the cash itself. And I know what you're thinking. But Bruno, what if people keep just selling you cobblestone, getting a lot of money and trying to buy something much more expensive with it? Wouldn't that offset the entire situation? And the answer is, not if we limit the amount of stock that the shop can hold. If you'll be able to sell into the shop only as much as the shop can hold, that prevents the absolute overflow of the farmable materials. If you'll want more money, you'll have to shift gears and start selling something else. Moreover, if you have way more cobblestone left, not only will you have to sell it somewhere else in your own shop, but also the clients will benefit, because you will have to sell it at a competitive price. Sell too high and nobody will buy. Sell too low and people will buy you out and just resell it back to my shop. And if that sounds to you like just a system where everybody is miserable non-stop, for no good reason too, well, for one, товарищ, добро пожаловать в мой мир. And for two, this is actually a nice version of doing this. Last season I tried to do this, but automated with redstone, and the sell price was way lower than the buy price, with the store keeping the difference and making me a profit. It did not catch on, because the redstone took entirely too much time to process, and also the math was confusing. So this time we're doing it all manually, and kind of hopping onto the gentleman's rule, which is not perfect, but at the very least it's gonna be fast enough for people to catch on and actually use. All that's left to do is just build the actual location, decide on how much of what we'll be storing, and of course decide on what we'll be selling to begin with. I will never get used to how high the goats jump. Let's roll that time lapse. This is where I remember that I have a TNT shop. Here's the area I dug up specifically for our community Bitcoin mine. And here is Foxy No Tails and Slacks. Ironically wartime hangar from which they sell firework rockets. And this entire time I've been launching TNT with TNT cannons in their general direction. Can you imagine how much noise it would have made if one TNT, at least one of them, landed anywhere near here? I would have had such a hard time explaining to them. But now it doesn't matter, because that didn't happen. So it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Anyhow, yeah, I decided to go for some sort of a mineshaft theme, at least for the first story of this entire shop. The reason for that being that, well, the first story of this entire shop is gonna sell this kind of material. We'll do cobble, we'll do stone, we'll do a bunch of cool things. But before we do any of that, we need to decide of what prices we are gonna offer. Because, my friends, it's actually quite a bit of a puzzle. You see, you can offer stone for a higher price than cobble, because stone is just smelted cobble. But at the same time, if we do that, what about silk touch? Because ultimately cobblestone is just not silk touch stone, so shouldn't it be more expensive? At the same time, we can offer a certain price for diorite, but then we also want to sell andesite, for example, and andesite is just diorite and cobble mixed together to make andesite. Meaning that should its price be higher because of that? Should its price be lower because of that? Just because we can get it more easily. And also, what other kind of materials do we want to sell right here, right now, out of just basic stone stuff? Because again, the point here is not just to have a bunch of materials sitting here, it's also to make something that people will want to buy for the exact same price for which other people might want to sell it. Okay, yeah, I went into creative single player copy of the world and made a chart. I know, I'm incredibly fun at parties, I make charts. But still, look, listen. It's actually quite interesting, at least that's what I'm thinking. This here is a representative chart of how much material you can buy per one dam. Sorted per type of material and of course kind of scaled. So for example, if you see 3 cobblestone blocks, that means that you can get 3 stacks of cobblestone per one dam. Comparatively, it's 2 stacks of granite, 2 stacks of andesite, 2 stacks of diorite, because basically all of those materials are everywhere underground. You can't really craft them without a lot of hassle, but at the very least, they are freely available. So, you know, they're not gonna be worth much. Now, if this was skyblock, but it isn't. Calcite is actually fairly rare, so I'm just gonna stick it at 1 stack per dam. Same for tuff, even though tuff is much more common. Honestly, I'm banking on calcite not being necessarily a material a lot of people are going for. Next up, we got deep slate, which is also 2 stacks per dam. Same for gravel, same for sand. Those are kind of materials that you just have to know where to get, and from there on, it really does not matter. All the woods are kind of manual harvest. You can make an automated wood farm, but I don't see anyone really doing that anytime soon. So I decided that it's gonna be just 1 stack per dam, including naturally the nether stems, the other nether stems, and the regular mushroom stems, which I don't think anyone is gonna sell to me until very like much later. And I really don't see anyone buying those either, but hey, for somebody, for one guy, that's gonna be a paycheck. And of course we have basalt, which naturally is incredibly easy to farm, so it's also 3 stacks per dam, and dripstone, which, yeah, it takes forever to grow. It's really weird. It takes forever to grow, but also you can find it underground, so I'm just gonna set it at 1 stack per dam, just like the wood. It's more cumbersome to create in large quantities, but you know what, I don't really think anyone's gonna care. And you can tell me right now that, well, I mean, Zloy, that's not entirely fair, because acacia is harder to farm than spruce, and spruce is easier to farm than oak, but oak can be fully automated farmed like azalea, and yeah, all of that is gonna become an issue. But even then, I'm kinda banking on the idea that the entire thing is gonna self-regulate, and also I reserve all rights to differentiate the prices sometime later, if the market starts to fluctuate. Ultimately, I'm banking on the idea that if something starts overflowing, it's just gonna remain overflown in the storage of the actual shop. Now, one thing I kinda don't know how to do with is wool. Because wool is, on one hand, auto-farmable, but on the other hand, it takes forever to auto-farm, even with a really good wool farm. So I think it's gonna be alright if I just keep it at 2 stacks per dam. A little bit less expensive than, say, calcite, but it's farmable, so it's fair. But a little bit more expensive than stone, because it's not as easily farmable as stone. I feel these are particularly fair. but we also need to now build the actual shop which is gonna be selling them. And hey, look, this is where I actually do need your ideas and your outlook on this. Let me know if you find anyone exploiting the economy in this regard, or potentially, and I'm not necessarily telling you to do that, but you can go and tell other people that there's a really good way of acquiring money in town. Perhaps they will be interested, or perhaps they will be interested in making a competition for me. We'll see how that goes. For now, though, I need to figure out what is it we're doing with the actual shop. Let me gather some materials and we'll get to building. Okay, I tried to put something together with the basic premise of a mine shaft. And I hate to say it, but I kind of gotten carried away. It's not much as of right now, and especially on the inside where just zero work has been done. Oh, that's a creeper, that's not good. Hi, bud. Oh god, there's like an entire mob cup full of mobs. But no, the outside, I'm liking it. And here's the thing. I planned this, I wanted this to be a mountain, because that's where mineshafts are, usually inside of a mountain. But here it kind of went a little bit sideways, specifically because, again, we're on a server, and if I were to build a peak down here, it would absolutely cover up Foxy's entire shop, or this entire area would just become unusable. So what I think is what we're gonna do instead is basically reach this level and reach out all the way back to the peak on a little bit of a flat. This once again will create more of a flat area for everybody else to build their shops on, and also save me a little bit more of building. We're still gonna continue the overall outline and shape all the way to back here, but it's gonna be a little bit nicer on everybody else on the server. And I don't think anyone's gonna complain about me taking up a little bit too much space. Especially because, once again, compared to the previous season where the All-Store was like 1/3 of the darn shopping district, I feel this actually okay. Yeah, so just comparatively, this feels nice. See, now isn't that so much nicer? It is for other people that are on the server. For me though, I kind of was looking forward to building a mountain. And I mean, admittedly, I still get to. My own house is currently in the middle of a giant area that needs to be terraformed. So yeah, I guess I still get to build my cliffs. But in the meantime, we got the shop enclosed. And I wanted to at least get the stone area done today. The bonus though is that I don't even need to stock the shop with the material itself. Anyway, what I need to do is provide the funds for the shop to be able to buy stuff out of people. And that's just a bunch of written books, which I'm pretty sure I have plenty materials for. I mean, I haven't checked in a while. That first batch of dumb really knocked the wind out of me. But I'm pretty sure I still have quite a few ink sacs left. Let's go check it out. See, if you don't know, dumb is just all copies of this original book, because then you can't make more copies of the original without having the original, you just get a copy of a copy. Which is how I mass produce the books that I and only I can make. However, a book in quill is actually quite a project when you get down to it. It's an ink sac necessitating a squid farm. It's a book, which itself is a sugarcane and also a leather farm, meaning that I should probably invest into making some sort of a hoglin farm eventually. And also it's a feather, meaning that I will need a chicken farm if I will get down to it. And all of these things are quite a nightmare to make and quite a project, really. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we will get to it, just potentially not today, because for one, I already have a feather farm. Silent Whisperer built me 2 of those. And for 2, right now I'm just buying out entire bookshelves from the librarians over there. We knocked the wind out of them quite a bit last time we raided around here, so they're still under my wonderful spell of selling, you know, a bookshelf per 1 emerald to me. So yeah, that's actually, we're pretty safe for a little while. How little that while is another question, because yeah, we're gonna want to get quite a budget before we start buying stuff out from people. And I know what you're thinking, Zloy, are you seriously just gonna convert the entire server to your made-up currency that you can print an infinite amount of for yourself? And like, yeah, kind of that. But at the same time, I hope you understand, I'm a man of honor. I just want to get rid of the diamonds as a currency. I just want to see a server that runs on something more clever and more fun. Actually being rich myself is entirely a byproduct. If anything, you know what? Let's just have a little bit of agreement right now. Once this shop is done, and not like done as today done, because I'm pretty sure today we're only finishing the stone aisle. But once the stone aisle, the wood aisle, every aisle of that shop is done, I'm just gonna grab them and just the original one and just throw it into lava, making sure that I can't just print infinite amount of it for myself, buy everything out and inflate the entire economy. But for today, I figure let's just put together the most basic thing we can. Here you go, 9 chests waiting to be filled with cobblestone. Cobblestone 3 stacks per dam. The first ever both-way shops, or at least the first iteration of it. Actually doesn't use that many more new money. I only printed an extra 64 of them for this project. So the overall amount of dam right now in the world is still 27 by 16 plus 64. I think this is a great social experiment, if nothing else. And I will be letting everybody on the server know that there is now a brand new way of getting cash going. And in the coming videos, we will be expanding this shop inwards, we'll be printing more cash, we'll be figuring out how to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun, is what I'm trying to say. I can't wait to see what my server mates do with it. Like seriously, this is basically 50% store, 50% storage system, 50% social experiment. But that's gonna be it for today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been ZloyXP. This has been Truly Bedrock. To be continued. Have a good one. Bye bye. Hey girlfriend. I hope this works.